Good morning, leaders. We're praying that you are having a blessed day and you're in good health. Well, today I want to keep it short and sweet. Basically, last week was a success to us from our perspective. You could just tell. We could tell the flow of the night went better. I don't know if you felt that and experienced that, but the flow was real smooth on time, and it seemed very intimate and personal. Well, we're praying that that success and that pace continues for the rest of the semester. It's going to stay the same. We're going to start out with a huddle meeting at 6:15, and then we're going to add this week. I'm going to ask the Duttons if you could remain in the foyer with the students as we go over the flow. That way, you can keep an eye on the students, help with the interns in that time, and I will get your leader guide to you either before or after the huddle. Thank you, guys. So every week, I will choose two leaders to hang out in the lobby during that huddle time as we go through those. And we're going to try to keep it short, simple. We're going to meet, give the flow, pray, which is super important. And then we're going to get after it. Well, this week, we're going to continue in First Peter chapter 3. It could seem like a little repetition, and we know that repetition is a good thing when it comes to students and with all of us. And so we're going to repeat verses 3 and 4 a little bit, but we're going to really hit verses 3 through 6. This week, we're going to look at true adoration and how it's actually a calling from God. We saw last week that Joel concentrated really on verses 1 and 2, and then he touched on 3 through 6. Well, this week, I'm going to camp there. And so, leaders, pray that God will protect our evening, and that He will protect my preparation coming up to Wednesday. We know that the battle is real, and so if we could just please pray for that night that every student that's supposed to be there will be there. That God will protect them from this day until Wednesday. Yes, that's super important. And that brings me to this point. Last week, when we had our prayer before we started, it really hit me about the importance of that time. Let me read you something by John Olawaka. That's interesting. Onawaka, in his book titled Prayers, one of those 9 marks books. On page 97, he says this. I was reading this week. As we weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice, Romans 12:15, we are reminded that we are part of a family. We're reminded that each of us possess a bigger identity. The I has become a we. No longer are we individuals consumed with our own worlds. We are interdependent parts of the body called to give thanks together and to grieve together. Our joys and suffering are no longer merely personal or confidential, they're meant to be felt vicariously. And then he says this at the end: as family, we come together to share these things and then take them to God in both prayer and petition. I thought that was a good quote. It kind of reminds us of the importance of praying for those students. It means when we get together, how important prayer is. And we nullify that sometimes. We get busy with our lives, and yet we are called to shepherd these students. And when we're called to shepherd, it means that we are shepherds. We smell like our sheep. And now, I want to encourage you, leaders, you are doing a great job of that. Keep up the good work. That was one of those harsh reminders to myself. How often am I caught up on preparation and I forget to pray? That 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 was a good reminder of me last Wednesday, the importance of prayer. I think if we emphasize it in our personal lives, it comes across in the way we pray for people, and then our lives become living testimonies. That's what Peter is going to teach us through chapter 3, verses 3 through 6, is that your outward appearance is actually your testimony. Your heart is being displayed just like a billboard. Your heart is on display. Every time someone sees you, what are they seeing? Are they seeing you or are they seeing Christ? Wow, pretty awesome. All right. So, leaders, I want to encourage you to continue to read chapter 3. When we get into this, you'll see that this week, verses 3 and 4, those are contrast. Verse 3 is external and temporary. Verse 4 is intentional and eternal. And so that's you're gonna see that contrast in verses 3 and 4. And then in verse 5, you'll see a general example, holy women. Peter gives us this general example, holy women. And then he gets personal. And he gives us Sarah, who shows us what submission to Abraham actually looks like. Well, I'm excited about where we're going. I'm excited about what's happening in the life of our church. And so, if God's willing, pray that we have an excellent week and pray that we can make it and see each other again on Wednesday. Listen, we love you. We look forward to continually serving with you in this wonderful ministry. Leaders, be blessed.